And we are now being joined by a member of the People's Democratic Party's caucus in the House of Representatives, Honorable Sergius Ogun, to speak on situations in the party. Honorable Ogun, we want to say thank you very much for joining us here on Newsday, because he represents the ESA federal constituency in Edo State, and he will also dwell on Nigeria's budgetary process. I want to say thank you for joining us today. But let's start it off from the infighting, or probably the lack of cohesion we're seeing play out in the PDP. We know that the North have sung one voice, literally, in terms of their consensus candidate. But for other positions, it's not been so. Why is it hard, or why is it always difficult for people from the same party to always see things on a straight line, basically, or see things from the same perspective when it comes to elective positions within the party?
Well, thank you for having me. And that's the beauty of politics, or democracy. We cannot all see things the same way all the time. So that's why we have a convention. So if we cannot produce consensus candidates in basically all the positions, they will come to Abuja and settle it. It will even be unfair to the people that are coming to vote, the convention, to say, well, we have adopted everybody, just go through the process and then go back home. So there are no issues. We will come here, we're going to have a wonderful convention in Abuja, and we will elect the officials to man the National Working Committee for the next 4 years.
All right, okay, let me just throw this one out there. Does it trouble you? Because we've seen this thing play out time and time again, where disgruntled party members not being given the opportunity maybe to exercise the franchise, or probably maybe get the position they were gunning for, get disgruntled, leave the party, and go and join the opposition party. This has happened time and time again. That's why I asked the first question.
Well, in the last convention, it didn't happen. We had a wonderful convention that produced the chairman, Prince Richard Secondus. And then it's not going to happen this time. Yeah, such things happen when people feel there's no transparency or there's a hidden agenda. If you are told to collect form to contest for a position that nobody has been adopted or endorsed, you collect the form, you spend your money and campaign, and then you come to the field on the day, and then you are told to step down. It can be annoying, but I don't think you should go to the extent of leaving the party. But in any case, that's democracy. If we don't deceive anyone and we are honest to one another, and you believe you are popular, you have done your homework with either your state or your zone, you should come here and be able to win. But I will not read minutes into it right now, and I actually prefer for people to come out, and then let's cast the vote. I don't believe too much in endorsing people before the convention, because it takes the beauty, it takes the shine away from it. I remember the presidential primary in Port Harcourt. Till the last minute, nobody was stepping down. And we had all the candidates there. We voted for those who wanted to vote for. And then at the end of the day, the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar emerged. And it was wonderful. They all embraced each other, and then everybody went home. So I don't envisage any problem. We're going to have a very wonderful convention in Abuja here this month.
Okay, that sounds quite positive. Honorable, I want to ask about the direct primaries for internal party elections, as was passed recently, and also the electronic submissions of results. How you feel about these processes?
Well, as an individual, I actually prefer the direct primaries, even though I think it's not the response. It shouldn't be a law. It should not be part of the Electoral Act. The parties should be at liberty to choose whatever mode of primaries they want. I don't think that should be in the law. But for me personally, I prefer it, because if you are popular, the entirety of the party members should select you. And what that does for you, it allows you to campaign before the election proper. So if you are popular with the people and they elect you, there's every tendency by the time you come, the general election comes proper, you also be elected. Rather than getting some few people that you have to pay so much money for them to vote for you. This is personal to me. But I know most people prefer the indirect when you get party leaders, party loyalists to come out and select or vote for a candidate during primaries. When they're talking about electronic transmission, we want that. We do not even want INEC to be at liberty to choose where to transmit from or not. Because the initial bill that came was that INEC should be at liberty to deploy whatever technology they want to with regards to transmission. So we do not want a situation where INEC can compromise, go to a place like Maiduguri and say we cannot transmit electronically, when they have told us they can do that. So it's good news. It's good news that we're going to transmit electronically. We should be thinking about doing electronic voting going forward and voting online. I mean, granted that they say, well, maybe we are not ready for that today, electronic voting today, but for the young people that can vote, that's a huge demography. We should catch them, get them to vote from their phones, from their houses, and then for those that cannot vote electronically or that cannot do online voting, the elderly people in the village or in rural areas,
Honorable Ogun,
can go and queue up.
Honorable Ogun, please, you permit me to step in at this point. And I just want to find out from you, does it worry you as a party member ahead of the 30th and 31st Congress that will be happening, that key members, strong pillars in the People's Democratic Party, like Ben Ayade, not forgetting Bello Matuale, are also David Umahi, these people that actually hold sway in their own regions, and not forgetting Femi Fani-Kayode, are all defecting from the PDP to the APC?
I won't lose any sleep over that, because, again, that's the beauty of democracy. If they believe the grass is greener on the other side and they want to go there, well, so be it. I won't hold anything against them, but as it turned out, they have gone there, and there's going to be an election in 15 months' time. So then we will test their popularity. For some of them, there were internal issues, Either they didn't have the structure of the party, or maybe others felt they can aspire to be presidential candidate in the other platform. But like I said, I don't hold it against them. In this stage, you have mentioned, maybe except Zamfara, I'm sure PDP will still win. Ebonyi, maybe Cross River, even though the governor is my personal friend, but he's finishing his second term the year after, 2023. Yeah, but talking about people leaving, it's not an issue. We will say PDP will win the 2023 general election. That I can tell you today, if we get it right from the convention to the primaries that will bring, where we will elect the presidential candidate. If we get it right there, you can go home and sleep knowing that we will win the election. And the APC, really, they have been in power for going to 7 years now. Why are you going to poach people from the opposition party if you believe you are very popular? You should have homegrown politicians in these states. Now you have said all manner of things about PDP. All manner of things. I can tell you today, even more than 65% of the so-called APC are not PDP members. And yet you got brooms to sweep PDP out of Nigeria. Why are you running after their members? I can't understand. It beats me. But in any case, to just let you know, we had the Edo election last year. As you rightly introduced me, I'm from Edo State. All this played out. They gave the impression that there was nobody with the Edo State governor, Godwin Obaseki, that the commissioners were leaving him, advisors were leaving him, the House of Assembly, they had majority and all that. But what happened? They were just playing that card again, make you feel the other party is not popular, we are the strong party. The election came, what happened? They didn't get votes. I don't want to go into how much money they spent. Although when I say this, the governorship candidate of the APC then is my brother. The election was not about him. So, but it's just the APC game. I'm not talking about Pastor Zeyamo, who is my brother, and most of the members of the House of Assembly are my good friends. But I'm just talking about the APC politics, not about them. So it's the same thing as playing out in the national. And you will see 2023, we'll come back and discuss this again. It's not going to work. People are going to be talking about the exchange rate today, cost of food in the market.
Yes.
Cost of petroleum products. Those are things that will form the basis of this, the discussion in 2023, not all this one they are doing.
Okay, Honorable. Thank you so much for that. I want to talk about the budget defense. Now that it has begun, how do you think Nigerians will be accepting what they're hearing?
Well, the challenge with our budget really is where we have adjourned and the defense has started. Most members are out on oversight. It's a ritual. And for somebody like me, I would want us to take it beyond the ritual of laying the budget, then the MDAs come for the defense, and then in 2 weeks, which I think is too short to appraise the money the MDA spent the preceding year, the year before, and then to look at their proposal for going forward. 2 weeks is too short to do that. But in any case, we're in a hurry to do the January to December budget cycle, so we will do 2-3 weeks. But it's too short to scrutinize the books. But having said that, I do not know the benefits. I haven't seen the benefits of the January to December budgeting. If at the end of the day, the budget is signed in 1st of January, and we are talking about by December of that same year, the MDAs still have not awarded contracts. Meanwhile, they would have presented another budget that would have been passed. So I haven't seen the gains. So my take always is, let us sit down with the MDAs, follow the Fiscal Responsibility Act 2007, Section 30, Section 50. Let them bring the performance, the quarterly performance of the budget. Let's sit with them and review it. Then, where we need to commend them, we commend them. They can carry that forward in the other quarter. When there are failings, we also point them out. And this also, we should tie this into releases. The minority leader has spoken twice on the floor lately that there are MDAs that have received money and they are not doing anything with it. And they are telling people that they have not received money. If we were doing quarterly review of their performance, that would not happen. Each time I say that, I'm told on the floor of the House, I'm indicting the National Assembly. Well, so be it. Because at the end of the day, Nigeria is not about the executive or the National Assembly. It's about all of us.
Honorable Ogun, permit me to come here at this point because some people have likened those at the National Assembly to be rabble-rousers. They just speak and just try to hit up the polity. When it comes down to carrying out major punitive actions or probably seeing this through, at some point, something happens and it's been swept out under the rug. Because time and time again, we're seeing the latest being coming from the budget office, the Senate accusing the budget office of excess payments in the 2015 budget. But after a while, we begin to see these things dissipate, fade away, and there is no follow-through. What should the Senate be? What should the National Assembly, not just the Senate alone, what should the National Assembly be doing? Or what are they not doing to ensure that there are follow-throughs and we plug all these leaking holes, so to speak?
Yeah, basically the same thing I'm saying. If in the private sector, maybe even in your establishment, I'm sure you people do monthly, bi-monthly or quarterly review of your operations. That happens a lot in the private sector. So my suggestion is if we do, which is the law even, that's the law today, the Fiscal Responsibility Act, 2007. So if the budget performance is supposed to be submitted to a joint committee of the National Assembly, Finance Committee of the Joint Finance Committee of the National Assembly, the performance should be submitted to them quarterly, same with the Fiscal Responsibility Commission, and then Nigerians should have that. So you, as a Nigerian, should be able to critique this. We, as the National Assembly, should sit down quarterly and review this. So some of these things you have mentioned, we should be able to point it out to the MDAs. Whatever we have seen there. When we are not doing that, you should be able to query us to say, look, we have scrutinized this, we have seen this, why are you not taking actions? And whatever actions we take, it behoves us to come back to you to say, look, we saw this, we have exposed this, and this is where we are right now. But that engagement today is not there. But again, like I said, everyone should be on board. Nigeria is for all of us. It's not for the executive, it's not for National Assembly, neither is it for the judiciary.
Honorable
Because
Ogun.
the country is in a mess today.
Honorable, what is stopping it from happening right now, the quarterly review?
I don't know. Yeah, because in the last 5 years, that has been when I have the opportunity to debate the budget for second reading, I have always said that.
No, that's enough time to know what's really going
land.
on. That's enough time to know what's really going on. 2 years is enough time. You said 5 years. That's enough time to know what is really going on, that quarterly reviews are not being done.
Okay, this is the thing. In 2019, I debated this. Then, that was in the 8th House, 8th Assembly. The then Deputy Speaker was presiding that day. He told me that I'm indicting the House, that we are supposed to be oversighting these MDAs. If I'm saying this, I'm indicting the House. That was why I was speaking. It's not as if he pulled me aside. When I finished my submission, I went to the chairman of the Public Accounts Committee, and who said to me, well, no issues at all, that they have actually just finished the 2015 audit. That was in 2019. So there has been backlog, not just from the 8th Assembly, from maybe 6th and 7th Assembly. So that's the situation. If I was rebuked in 2019, and I was rebuked again in 2021 debating this, there are issues that are beyond me. It's for me to say it, and I have said it here today. I have flagged it. You guys should take it up.
All right.
Like I said, Nigeria is ours. It's for everyone.
Okay. All right. We'll see how we can take that one up. Certainly, we will be asking other members of the National Assembly their thoughts about this budget defense, and more importantly, how we can appraise these things properly to ensure that talks about 2015 budgets still being looked at in 2021 should not be happening. I want to say thank you very much, Honorable Ogun, for stopping by and speaking with us here on Newsday.